Hey there, everyone. Anna Ginter here. I'm in my class and I'm going to walk you through how to set up your gradebook. First, I'll go to my class tools and I'll head over to the gradebook. And then I'll go to my setup tab. And it brings me right to my gradebook. When we made the lessons earlier, I told you about categories. In my gradebook, I have two for my check-in and my lessons. My students do a check-in every week and then they do a lesson. That's my 2 grades. So we had already made the 2 lessons and they're right here. When you make new ones, they come in at 0 value and they have to be added to our categories. But first, let's learn how to make a category. Scrolling down to the bottom, and I'll explain these other ones I have here in a minute. This is my sandbox, so I have a lot of things in here. Those we're not going to be working with, but I'll show you what they are in a minute. Let's add a category. So we'll just call this one extra. All right, the category comes in as natural, which is what we want. Let's show some more. So it's excluding empty grades right now, and that's perfectly fine. So if your student hasn't done the work, it won't count it towards their grade. So if they've done nothing in your class, and they've done one assignment, it's going to look like they have a perfect 100. So if you have 10 assignments due and they've done one and they got a perfect 100 on it, their class grade is going to be a 100. So this is kind of iffy here. I usually uncheck that. So it'll include the empty grades. You can have it drop the lowest grade if you want, but I have it include the empty grades. And I'll go into more later about where it won't include the hidden grades, and you'll see that later. So we can show less there. We're done with that. And then we'll show more. And you can have a little bit where it's set up and your dates and everything here. And what parent category it is. It's going to go under your main category, which this will be your class name. And then adjust the weight and everything. We'll do that out on the main page. And we'll just save changes. And it'll appear at the bottom of your list. So see how it says that we're going to include the empty grades? That's an important thing to remember. We're not really going to work with this category because we have the others 2 set up. So it came in as a 0 value. So that's perfectly fine. And there's 0 items underneath it. That's what we wanted to see. So it's 0 value. And my other, where I have those extra lessons I talked about, they're 0 value too. Because they're grayed out, they're hidden. Those are things I have saved in this class I work with at other times. So for the 2 that we're working with, I have them set at 50% of the grade and 50% of the grade. That totals up to 100. That's what we want to see. Now, they're not showing that they're counting the empty lessons. So we can go over here and class total, and with the E, that's editable. We can hit here, my bad, wrong one, and hit edit settings. So we'll grab that, go in here, go to the show more, and uncheck it. And now this one here, it will include the empty grades. So we prepared that. So I had already previously done another check-in and added it to my set for week 5. But when it came in, it didn't add it to my total. So I had 4 weeks in here and they were 25% each, which totaled up to 100. Well, this one got added in. So now I just have to go fix the value. Everything underneath that 50% has to total up to 100. So when we put them in here, we just got to go and fix up the value. No biggie. So we made these 2 today. The design time template. This was our lesson, and this is our assignment. Well, these are the 4 that were previously for the 4 weeks. And now we've got a 5th one and a 6th one. Well, maybe we decided we didn't want to use this one because it looks like, oops. So it looks like it's grayed out, so it's hidden. Maybe we decided we wanted to hide it. So it's hidden. So we'll just set this one to 20% as well. Can't really have 6 lessons. Maybe we'll use it next week. So we'll set all these to 20 as well. So once we have all our values and we agree that with ourselves that they're, equal to 100, and we can go and save our changes. So we've got all our values set up. We're happy with what we got. If we decide we wanted to show this one and make it visible, we can do it from here. Change it to it's visible. It's now orange. Anything orange is visible. And maybe we want to put it up here in a check-in. This little arrow here, we can move it. And maybe we don't want to put it in the lessons or the check-in. Maybe we want to take it down here to other. We can just stick it into other for next week. So now it's moved its category into other, and they adjusted their value. Even though their overall percentage is 0, they adjust their value because they're already set and they modify. That's the only time they'll adjust their value. If they're all unchecked and you add something, will automatically adjust. You can go here, and we can hide it as well. And it will automatically hide. So now it's grayed out again. So if you uncheck them, it will automatically modify their values, and you can move them in there. The best way to set them and get them in there when you're working with them is to put them in when you're creating the lessons. But if you forget, you can change them when you're doing your gradebook. So that covers getting them to include the grades, empty grades, getting their grades totaled up, and moving them around. So now we have, okay, maps. 1,000 points worth of assignments. We've got the minimum grades here, and we're all set to roll. Next thing you can do is get your settings set up so your students can see it. All right, everyone, I'm back to explain how to set up the gradebook so it's easier for your students to navigate and understand, as well as for you. So back in the gradebook, we're going to go to the Setup tab again. And once we're here, we're going to go to Class Grade Settings. This controls what your students will see on their page, as well as what you will see. The first two we're going to leave alone. The third one we're going to change to percentage real. We need no decimal places. And then as far as the show rank, it's already set to default high, which is good. And the show totals excluding hidden items, I've already changed. It comes in as default high. We want to change that to show totals excluding hidden items. That's a very important one. Their show rank is already at default high. That's very good. That's their rank in the class. Now, the show percentage one, you want to hide this. And that's the percentage for each item, like each assignment. And the reason you want to hide this is because the more items you add, the more lessons you add, that when there's 2 lessons, even though they're under a 50% category, that category is worth 50%, there's only 2 lessons and each lesson is worth 50%. When you add it, there's 4, they're worth 25% each. And then when you add another one, it becomes 5, they're worth 20% each. So their percentage value is going to change and change and change and change. So hide the percentage of what each item is worth because it's going to confuse the student. So hide the percentage of what each item is worth because if they're under a category, they're going to be shifted. So we do want to show them their grades. We want to show them their feedback, their weightings of the categories. We want to show them that. Their average. It sounds not right to hide this, but hide that. that's their average among the classmates, where it's kind of like, what they're ranking. We don't want to do that. They can figure out what other classmates are making by that. Hide that, and you can go read the little comments over here, and it'll tell you what they're doing. You want to hide that. Their letter grades, you want to show them their letter grades if you so desire. Some students like that. I find that they find it useful. Their contribution to class total, you want to hide that. They can figure out their students' grades by that. You want to show their ranges. If there's 400 points to earn and they've only earned 200, they know they still got a ways to go. So keep that there. Decimal places in the range, they don't need that. That'll make it harder. Makes it take up more space. Show hidden items only until they're hidden. That's the default. Keep them there. Hide totals. Show totals excluding the hidden items. This is another one. That way they get their totals, and it leaves off things that are hidden. We don't want to hide the whole total. And this just hides the hidden items. So we'll save that there, and that sets up your gradebook. Now, there's one more item that you can toggle for yourself, and that's in Setup tab as well. And this is your grader report. This is your report. So the cool part is it pulls in most things from the student report. So, and pulls it all over for you. Their profile images, if you want to see them, activity icons. These are things you can adjust as well. The ranges, it shows all these things on default and pulls it over. And if you hit the toggle here, this is the one that you can adjust. Report default, non-empty grades, or all grades. So if you want the report for yourself to show what their grade will be for all their grades, you would change this. If you just want to see what their grade for what they've done, you can leave it on non-empty grades. And that's the default. So just hit changes, and your gradebook is all set up. So we have our class total, our check-in total, and our grades here. And then our lesson total, and then I only have a sample student here who hasn't done anything. So, and then with the lessons, you can zoom in on and see each one of the lessons, what they've done. So, and I will take this over to a gradebook that is complete to show you what that looks like. All right, guys, here is a view of one of my gradebooks. It is showing the class total here. This is the sign-in total. These are the completed assignments. This is a lesson total. These are the completed assignments. They have alternate assignments and extra credits. There's a couple of them here, but they're not showing. I've removed the students' names so you cannot see them. But on my view, I have it set up so it calculates their totals, including the empty spaces. My students don't see it that way. I have it viewing differently for me than for the students. And I'll show you how to do that in a little bit. The students only are seeing it with what they have done. This particular assignment has not released yet. This fifth one, the fifth sign-in and the fifth lesson. But for me, I see the total for all of them. So my students are only seeing, the 4 assignments. But this is what a smooth and clean gradebook looks like. It's calculating correctly and running through smoothly. And I will show you how to set that up in just a moment. Alright, the last thing to show you I have on the screen is the gradebook from a test student I have set up. And this is what it looks like to a student. It's very simple. They see the 4 assignments and the 4 sign-ins, their grade, and the range, and each of the assignments. Now, I do have it set up different percentages, weighted percentages for my actual class. Like I said, this is a test student. Not all the assignments are complete, just like a typical student. But as you can see, they don't see the 5th week. It's not showing up. And then they have the extra credit in here. So as you can see, it's a very clean and concise setup for them. It's including the empty grades for them. So what they have not done does show up and calculated as their grade. And that is a complete overview of the Gradebook setup. And if you have any questions, feel free to send me an email or a message through Remind, and I will help you set up anything you need to. Once again, this is Anna Ginter, and I'll walk through on how to set up the Gradebook and make it easier for you and your students while we work with the online Blackboard.